Most people think a dog is just a pet, but they are actually the only ones who see your whole childhood and never tell your secrets. You spend your first 15 years learning how to be a person, while they spend their entire life teaching you how to love. There is a specific smell that comes with a new puppy in a cardboard box, and it usually changes a family forever. In this video, we are going to look at the beautiful and heartbreaking cycle of growing up alongside a four-legged best friend. We will talk about why their lives are so much shorter than ours, and how that actually helps us understand the world better. Think back to the very first day you met your first dog, and try to remember exactly how small they felt in your arms. Maybe his name was Cooper or Max, or maybe it was a golden retriever named Daisy, who had ears that felt like velvet. When you are 5 years old, a dog is not an animal, but a giant living teddy bear that actually breathes and licks your face. You probably shared your Cheerios with him under the kitchen table while your parents weren't looking because you were a team. That dog was there when you lost your first tooth, and he probably tried to eat the tooth after it fell out on the carpet. He was there for every summer afternoon spent running through the sprinklers until your skin turned blue and your hair was soaking wet. Dogs have this amazing way of knowing exactly when you are sad, even if you are just a kid who lost a toy. They don't need to say anything because a wet nose pressed against your hand says everything that needs to be said in that moment. By the time you hit middle school, that puppy is now a full-grown dog who knows your schedule better than you do. He knows that 3 o'clock means the yellow bus is turning the corner, and he starts pacing by the front door. Think about how many times you walked through that door, feeling like the world was ending because of a math test or a mean kid. But then you saw that tail hitting the floor like a drum, and suddenly, the bad day didn't matter quite as much as it did before. There is a scientific reason why we feel so close to them, and it has to do with how our brains release a chemical called oxytocin. When you look into your dog's eyes, both of your brains release this feel-good chemical that makes you feel safe and loved. It is the same bond that parents have with their babies, which is why losing a dog feels like losing a piece of your soul. As you grow taller and your voice starts to change, you might notice that your dog is changing in a different way too. The fur around his muzzle starts to turn white, like he has been dipping his face in powdered sugar when no one was looking. He doesn't jump off the couch as fast as he used to, and he might take a few extra seconds to get his back legs moving. This is the part of the story where the circle of life starts to feel a little bit unfair and way too fast for us. A dog lives about 7 times faster than a human being because their hearts beat much faster and their bodies work harder. In the time it takes you to go from kindergarten to high school graduation, your dog has lived a whole lifetime of experiences. They have seen you through every single phase of your life, while they stayed exactly the same in their loyalty to you. You start to notice that the walks are getting shorter, and he spends more time napping in the sun patches on the living room floor. He still wants to follow you into every room, but sometimes he just watches you from his bed with those big, soft eyes. It is hard to watch your childhood protector become the one who needs protection, but that is the most important part of the bond. You start carrying him up the stairs or buying the expensive soft food because his teeth are getting a little bit sensitive. You realize that you are now the one providing the comfort that he gave you for the last decade of your life. Then comes the day that every pet owner dreads, when the house feels too quiet, even though the TV is turned on. The jingling of the collar is gone, and the spot on the rug where he used to sleep feels like a giant hole in the universe. You might find an old tennis ball under the couch 6 months later, and it will hit you all over again like a wave. But the circle of life teaches us that grief is just the price we pay for a love that was completely and totally worth it. If dogs lived as long as we did, we might take their presence for granted, or forget how special every single day really is. They are short chapters in our long books, but we are the entire book for them, and that is a massive responsibility. Think about the lessons that dog taught you without ever saying a single word of English during all those years together. He taught you how to be patient when he chewed up your favorite shoes, and how to be kind to things smaller than you. He taught you that showing up is 80% of the job, and that a good nap can solve almost any bad mood. Eventually, the pain of the loss starts to fade, and you're left with the movies playing in your head of him running. You remember the way he barked at the mailman, or how he always barked at his own farts, because they surprised him every time. Then one day, you find yourself walking past a pet store or looking at a shelter website because the house feels too empty. You see a tiny puppy with big paws and a clumsy walk, and you realize that your heart has enough room to start over. You aren't replacing your old friend, because that is impossible, but you are honoring him by giving that love to someone new. The circle continues as you bring that new puppy home and show him the same spots in the backyard where the old dog used to dig. Now you are the adult in the house, and maybe you have a child of your own who is ready for their first best friend. You watch as your kid reaches out a small hand to pet the new puppy, and you see the whole cycle starting all over again. Life goes on, and the memories stay tucked away like old photographs that you can take out whenever you feel lonely. The circle of life is beautiful because it ensures that love never actually ends, it just changes shape and finds a new home. The bond between a child and a dog is the purest thing on this planet, and it shapes who we become as grown-up humans. If you are missing a friend today, just remember that they spent their whole life trying to make you smile, so keep doing that for them. Check out this next video to see more amazing stories about the animals that change our lives forever.